Molson Coors shooting. The company is now addressing rumors about what led the 51-year-old gunman to open fire on his co-workers.
5 men were killed. Many questions remain tonight. CBS 58's Brittany Lewis is live in the Miller Valley with what a company spokesperson had to say tonight. Brittany.
Bill, that spokesperson said their focus right now is on helping employees and healing, and part of that has to do with looking at workplace culture. Milwaukee police say Anthony Ferrill shot and killed 5 of his coworkers before shooting and killing himself last week. Not long after the shooting, people were posting on social media that racial harassment may have been behind the shooting. The chief communications and corporate affairs officer for Molson Coors said police are still investigating the shooting and any possible motive, but acknowledged a noose was found in a locker 5 years ago.
We've seen the same types of rumors that folks have seen on social media over the last few days. Some of them are true. There was an incident that's been discussed about a noose that was found in a locker, which is abhorrent. It is flatly unacceptable that something like that would happen in our place of work. No two ways about it.
Collins said they investigated it, looked through security footage, but could not see who placed it there. He said Ferrill had not filed any complaints with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission.
Were there any problems with Anthony Ferrill before the shooting? Did anyone raise any concerns that maybe this man could potentially be someone who would come and shoot his coworkers?
Yeah, I want to be really careful. Again, the police department has been doing an incredible job investigating this horrible, horrible event. And we've been working very closely with them to get those answers. I know there's a lot of questions, and we have questions. The police department has questions, and the community has questions as well. And so our commitment has been to working with the police department and the detectives as they do that really difficult, hard work to get those answers that I know everyone wants and everyone deserves.
He said there are currently no active complaints about a hostile work environment at the company, but he said they are listening to employees and working with outside organizations. Reporting in Milwaukee, Brittany Lewis, CBS 58 News.
All right, Brittany, thank you. And today, loved ones honored. One of the men killed.
Okay. So before I go any further, I have to give a shout. Sorry about that. Before I go any further, I have to give a shout out to Nicole's View because she posted this up on her timeline on Twitter, and I just happened to scroll through and I stumbled upon it and I said, oh, this is the perfect update for this story right here. Now, we had said that most likely he might have been affected, Anthony Ferrill might have been affected by racism and discrimination in the workplace. Well, now it has been confirmed that noose that was found hanging near or by his locker actually did happen. As a matter of fact, it happened 5 years ago. So it is 2020 now, meaning in 2015, this is when the noose was found. I actually find it hard to believe that if he had a noose found near his locker, that he just let that just fester over for 5 years and he never once went to HR and complained that somebody is being racist towards him or making nonverbal threats his way or sending some kind of signals. I refuse to believe that he did not go and tell anybody about that, because that right there, take a picture of it, send it to HR and have them handle it, quote unquote. And I put quotes behind that because they probably wouldn't have done much of anything. Considering the fact that I do believe he went and told somebody. Second, I don't believe they don't know who put it there because there are cameras. Well, they said it was in his locker or near his locker, so they probably don't have cameras in there. Because I know and that would be considered a place of privacy. It's not like an open area. Like they wouldn't install cameras in a restroom or in a shower room. So I know they wouldn't put one in a locker room either, because that's where people are changing. But the fact of the matter is somebody put it there, and he had a target when he went to go and kill who he went to kill. Like I said, when he killed the people, they blurred out the images of 4 of the 5 people, but the 5th person they didn't blur because that was the target, which leads me to believe that was the person who probably did it. And I wouldn't be surprised if others was there being like co-conspirators with the whole thing as well, because I refuse to believe that this was just one person doing this to this guy. And 5 years ago, who knows what else this man was dealing with in the workplace for the last 5 years? Who's to say he was maybe trying to find other employment, but maybe couldn't get other work outside of where he was working? After all, he's been working there for 20 years. Wait, was it 20 years? Well, I think it was longer than that, because I think the article before stated he's been there since like the early 90s. So you're talking about almost 30 years probably. He's probably been there longer than a lot of the guys that were doing this to him. And like I said in my other video, and some of you have mentioned before, people have a boiling point. You don't know how people are going to react when it comes to things such as these. But I'm glad that it was confirmed that there was a noose there, so there's no speculation that this probably was him going against someone being racist towards him. Because, like I said, dead men don't talk. He killed his target. He killed the 4 other people. He's dead because he shot himself. So, but I find it also interesting that lamestream media, and in true lamestream fashion, waited about over a week, well over a week after this happened to report this. See, what they did was they reported this almost instantly, and they could have, considering this happened 5 years ago. If they had reported this instantly, they wouldn't have been able to go after this man in a more vitriolic way. And I mean the court of public opinion. Now that they've confirmed that there was a noose found, they got to scale it back and say, well, maybe he was justified in what he was doing. Now what's going to end up happening is they're probably going to investigate this company even further. Like, why didn't y'all say anything 5 years ago when this noose was found there? Like I said, he probably went to HR, but they didn't do anything. They didn't reprimand the guy, the person who did it. I'm telling you, they know who did it. They know who did it, and they gave him cover. I would say they're giving him cover, but he killed the person. So I have to say in the past tense, they gave him cover. They allowed this person to continue to work there in the same environment with Anthony Ferrill, and I can imagine the animosity had to go on there for the last 5 years. And he could have easily not have found out who did it at the time, but he eventually found out over time, and they still didn't do anything. Because a lot of the times our complaints in the workplace go severely unnoticed unless they quote unquote see it. But it is what it is at the end of the day. But yeah, I would definitely investigate this company because they knew something. They know who. I just have the strongest feeling that they know who did it. Anthony did, which is why the person whose picture wasn't blurred out is no longer here. He knows he was the one that was involved, at least involved. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this update down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Twitter if you haven't done so already. Have your notifications turned on, and I will talk to you in the next one.